Hey guys, it's Maymay, and I'm super excited to be bringing you a card using this big old camera from our newest stamp set called Focus on God. Now, I'm going to be using this to make a shaker card. I think this will be really cute to have a little shaker element inside here, but even more, we're going to make this a cheetah print camera. Yep, I'm going to show you how to do it without paper piecing, you guys. So I had a little bit of this paper left over from a Mente project I did, and I just think this will be so cute on this card with the camera. And I thought I want to kind of do this look on my camera. Now it's not going to be exact. It's not exactly the same, but it'll be cute. So look, I'm going to be using these colors. And don't stress, I'm going to have Tamitha put a list of these colors in the description for you guys. So if you want to mimic it, you can. The first thing we need to do is stamp our image, okay? So I'm going to be stamping the big camera using Memento ink. This one, Memento Tuxedo Black. Why this one? It doesn't really have to be Memento. It just needs to be a dye ink because I'm going to be using alcohol markers and I need to dye the page so that it won't smear. I'm going to stamp this little camera down. Just anywhere, because I'm going to be cutting this out, so it doesn't have to be, you know, in a specific spot. Then I'm going to take this little image from the set that is the flash, this little guy, and we're going to stamp it right above that little piece right there so we can give a little height to our camera. I love this little flash. You can use it on both cameras. It's really cute. You could use it by itself. I'm just going to line it up here and stamp that at the top there. Isn't that cute? So our camera's kind of tall, and we're through stamping. Now, I'm going to be doing the cheetah print in this open area right here. So the first color I'm going to start with is the color GB10. And I'm going to take the little bullet point nib, this end, and I'm just going to color this in. I'm sorry if my fingers get in the way. I tend to be a person who colors straight on. And I apologize because I do that. Now, these colors are, like I said, not perfectly exact matches for what's going on in the Mente, but they look good enough. They're close enough. I've done a test, I did a sample, and I liked how it turned out. So we're going to kind of do that same thing. So I'm going to color both of these sides with the brown, and then we'll get back together and do the fun part. So there's my brown. So now I'm going to take the color called TN7. Now I want to show you something. These little caps can be deceiving. So what you want to do is you want to put your numbers onto a paper like this. See how I've got those all laid out? I'm trying to get it where you can see the numbers. I just drew a little line with my marker and wrote which one they were so I could see what colors I'm working with. You're going to want to do that too because it can be deceiving. All right, so with the bullet point nib of your TN7, I'm going to take this and I'm going to make little blobs. You can see here that I'm just making little inky blobs, and I want you to see this. I want some of these inky blobs to kind of go off the camera as if the pattern was wrapped around, and some of them I want to just kind of live in the middle here. You want big blobs, little blobs, all sizes, okay? So you see how that's going? Perfect. Let's go to the other side and do the same thing. So little blobs and big blobs. This is a very easy pattern to replicate. It probably seems hard or looks more difficult than it is, but it's literally just blobs. So it's easy. And you want all different sizes, and you don't want it too perfect. You know, you want your pattern to be a little random. All right, now I'm going to take true black, but I want to show you something. I'm using black for my pattern because there's black on my page, but this also looks good if you use a dark brown in what I'm fixing to do. So I want you to see this. Do you see how the little dots I just made on this page are lighter, but you can see here that they kind of have this black splotchiness around them, but it doesn't encapsulate the whole blob. It's kind of open. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to take my true black, that same point nib, okay, and around those blobs I made, I'm going to come in and do some of those black splotchinesses. So just anywhere you have a blob, do those little squiggly lines around it. Now let me show you this. I noticed that some of those have little black dots in them. So I'm just going to come over here and add just a dot here or there like they kind of did. So let's do the other side together. So I've got my little spots, right? And I'm going to come in and I'm going to blob this up. This is the easiest pattern to replicate because you can't mess it up. There is no rhyme or reason. The biggest thing to me is to make sure you have the blobs kind of going on and off of the camera because that makes sense that it wouldn't just be perfect. All right, let's put a little bit more over here, and I think I'll put some dots in. Just a couple of dots. Now look at that. Look how fast that was, and that is 100% cheetah print. Now let me show you how this lines up. See how that looks with it? It's pretty close. It's not exact. So if you wanted to play with it a little more, you could use like your blender brush or maybe even your blender marker or even a lighter color. And you could come in, and if you wanted to kind of mess with these colors a little, you could add a little lighter color and even wash some of this out even a little bit more. You don't want to blend anything together. I'm just kind of tapping this in to kind of even lighten up those dots in the middle. And the more you play, I would do this on a separate piece. I would practice before I got to it, because I noticed even for myself that my first one was a little too pale. And so I had to do a little adjusting of color. But you can see here how this light gray color pushed in here, it's really just letting the alcohol kind of lighten up inside of those blobs. And I really like how that looks. Could be overkill. You don't necessarily need it, but see how that added a little something? I love how that looks. I want this camera. All right, now for the fun part. Let's put a pop of color. I want to use pink. What's wrong with me? I don't know. I don't use pink, y'all. So this color is BP6, and I want this little scallop around the camera to be this pink color. I just love it. Not shading, just coloring. So I'm going to run around and put this pink all the way in the scallop. So look how cute that looks with that little pop of pink. Now let's put some more black in there. I don't want to put too much black, so I'm going to go ahead and color with it so I can be kind of specific about where it's going to go. I know I want the camera to have a little bit of black on it. So I think I'm going to come right here and put some black in this area, like this little stripe. And over here. And kind of, if I do it on one side, I'm going to do the same on the other. Some black there. And then I thought I would do this little line in black. I don't want the camera to be too much black, because I think then it will lose some of its pattern or some of its movement. So that, and then I think I'll do this little part up here, the flash part. Now here's where I'm going to play with some grays, because I think this will be cute. I'm going to come in and take this color called IG10. And I'm going to actually make the camera more gray than black. On screen, that looks really black. So I've decided I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. I'm going to do that same trick with that IG. This is IG4. And I'm going to lighten that up a little bit because I don't really love how dark that got. And by laying this lighter color on top of it, it'll just lighten it up and give a little texture. It'll sort of have to develop, but over time, you'll see that lighten up. I like that. All right, so let's take another gray, something a little lighter. Maybe stick with that one. Let's stick with IG4. Let's come up here to the top and let's go in this area. Yeah, I like that. Because like I said, I don't want just a blob. I want everything to kind of have different colors about it. And I think I'll go around the flash in this color as well. All right, and then an even lighter gray. And I want to go into these buttons. Do them in the light gray. I want to do this little, this is the flash or the button for taking the picture. I want to do that one lighter. This little connector, I want to do it in a lighter gray. And I think I'll do this one in the light gray as well. And this little stripe right here in the light gray. And then I'm going to take a blue. I really thought this was kind of cute. And I'm going to just stripe this a little bit. This color is a BGR1, and I'm just putting some stripes in. I'm not trying to color that in at all. And what I did up here was I colored in this center circle, and then I just did this kind of cross-hatching look as if it were a flash. So I went in that way, and then I'm going to come back this way. This is what can give your images just a little more character, you know. It doesn't have to be solidly colored in. All right, one more spot where I want to use a dark color. And I think I'll go back to IG10 here. And that first ring inside, I want to color it. And the reason I'm using a dark color is because I want it to really make this pop. This is where my shaker is going to live, right inside of here. So I want to really make this pop. You could do any color, but this is the one I thought would really do that for me. And it allows that pink to just kind of glow. So I'm going to color this ring all the way around, and I'm going to show you the fun part. Okay, now I'm going to get a punch and show you what we're going to do. So using my 1-inch circle punch, I discovered that it is perfect for the inside of this camera. So I'm going to take my 1-inch circle punch and put it onto this image, and look, it cuts those two pieces out in the middle perfectly for me. So I'm going to punch that. Now I can do a little shaker element inside there. So I'm just going to fussy cut this out, and we'll start building the shaker element. So there it is, our little camera. And now what I want to do is put some acetate in to be what holds my glitter. So let me find some acetate. So I have this piece of acetate that I'm going to put on the back that'll make the little window here for us. So I'm going to cut this down a good bit. It's way too big. It's just a scrap piece that I had. Let's cut this down about like this. I may still have to do a little cutting. Yeah. That's still a little big. Just line it up and hold it together and do it. It won't show on the back. I just want to make sure I have plenty of room to glue it on. There we go. All right, so now I'm just going to glue this straight down, and I'm just going to use some liquid glue. You could use a sticky tape or something here, but I'm just going to run some glue right around this edge. And I got too much, so let me smear some of that out. Because one thing is with the acetate, you don't want too much glue because it won't dry really good, you know, because air doesn't really get under there. So you want to be careful with that. Okay, then we'll put our little piece of acetate on here. Just let that dry. I can see a spot there I need to trim out too, but that's fine. I can do that in a minute. So I'm gonna let that dry and we will make the shaker portion. So now that I have the acetate glued into place, I want to show you. When you make a shaker, what you need is the image with the acetate, a backer, and we're going to make a sandwich. And that's what's going to hold the glitter inside. So we're going to need some foam. And I know I said glitter, but I'm not going to be using glitter. I'm going to be using sequins, which is good because if you use glitter, it can be so small that it can come out of any little gap that you leave. And we don't want to leave any gaps for anything to fall out. So notice that I've cut for myself from Scotty. I used my big roll of Scotty here, and I've cut myself a strip. And notice I've taken the backer off of both sides. So I'm going to place this right beside the opening. And with the backer off of both sides, I can shape this into the shape I need. And it doesn't have to be perfect around that circle. You just don't want it to show through. That's all we're trying to keep it from doing. Yeah. So just doing this. We'll let this roll right around. And I'm going to layer this. I'm going to put one on and then another because I don't want it to be just this high. I need it to be a little bit higher than this so that the sequins will fit in really well. And here, I'm just going to make sure they meet. I didn't quite meet up there because I don't want anything to fall out. But again, see how it doesn't have to be perfect? None of that's going to show. None of it. So let's add another strip on top. And I'm just going right back to the top. I'm just going to lay this right over that other piece. Perfect. So now I'll hold it sideways. So you can see here, now I have this kind of deep well to put some in. I'm going to look on this side and see how that looks. It looks pretty good. This side's a little bit showing. I'll push it back some. All right, let's put our sequins in. So for the sequins, I'm going to be using ice white and light gold from Nuvo. We'll have these in the description for you if you're interested in these. I love them, especially this ice white. It's so pretty. This color is like milky. You can see, I'll hold it up so you can see the sequins in there. Aren't they gorgeous? They're so pretty. All right, so let's sprinkle some in. And I won't need too many. I do want a good bit though, because I really don't want it to be like, I really want it to have a lot inside because I'm not so much concerned about it being a shaker as I am just decorating inside of there, if that makes sense. So even if it was full, it would still be super cute. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the gold and just kind of let them both live in there. And these are smaller. So I've got larger ones in the white and the smaller ones in the gold. I should have mixed these up outside because I feel like a lot of the white's going to show in the front. Let's see if I can do a little mix up. Take my pokey tool and just kind of work that around. So we get some to the front and some to the back. All right, now before I close this up, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that foam. Not that it necessarily needs it, but I just want an extra layer of precaution. So I'm just going to run around and put a little glue on the foam so that when I put the other piece on, it's nice and sealed in. All right, and then we're going to place this piece. And all we want is for this piece not to show on the front side. So I'll get this all glued in, and anything that shows I can trim away. So you can see here on the bottom how some of that is showing, so I'm going to trim that off. And then there's no more showing. That was all that was showing. And see how I kind of just filled that up? It's not so much a shaker as it is just loaded up, which is what I really wanted. I just wanted there to be something inside of there instead of just it being, you know, just a camera. I think that's kind of cute. All right, so all of this now will get hidden. Let's put a little foam here. We'll go ahead and like prep it for putting it on the card, because I'll only need to build up this section because everything else will be glued down with this piece. Use the wrong scissors. I just grabbed some. I should have used my coated scissors because I don't want to get those gunky. Let me get the right ones. So 2 layers because I did 2 layers on the circle there, so we want it to be the same height. Okay, now we have to design our card. So now I have 2 pieces of cardstock. This one is 3.5 wide by 5.5 tall. And this one I did at 2 1/4 wide, and it is also 5.5 tall. Now, playing on the scallop, so like this little scallop running around the camera, I'm gonna scallop, I know I'm gonna scallop this piece. I may do this piece as well. So let me just show you. So I'm gonna use this scallop border punch, and I'm gonna place this guy in, and just kind of line it up even, and just punch all the way down. I just think this will really add to the look of the card and kind of mimic what's in the camera. I think that'll be cute. There's that in. I'm gonna flip it over and make it easier for me to see what I'm doing. And again, I don't know if I'm gonna do the pink also. I may, but that may be too many scallops. There's that side, so let's do this one. So the plan is to have this here and then this on top. Yeah, I think I'm not gonna scallop this piece. I think that'll be too much. And then let me show you where I'm gonna be putting this. So this is a black card base. And what I wanna do is I want this to live here, but I wanna show off these edges, these scalloped edges that I did, because I don't want it to be quite so flat. I want something underneath here. And I think I'm gonna bring in another color. I think I'm gonna bring in this washi tape. This color is so pretty, this kind of blue. And I'm loving this whole kind of 80s look. I don't know, maybe 90s look, I'm not sure. So what I'm gonna do is lay this on my cutting mat, and I'm gonna eyeball in about 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna come in from here about 1/4 inch and place this down, try to get it straight, like so, and then trim this away. Then I'm gonna do that same thing to the other side. So just take another piece of washi, about 1/4 inch in, try to get that straight and even. If you want to mark that, feel free. You can certainly just mark that to know exactly where you need to put it. Trim that one away, and then trim the bottom away. Okay, so that lives there. It looks like tire stripes in it. So that'll live there. Now this will show off my scallops more. See how you can see those better? And then I'm gonna add this little guy. What I can't decide is what layers I'm gonna pop up. I think I may pop up the scallop side because I think that that'll really show better, and then our camera's gonna live here. So let's put some foam onto our cheetah print here. So now I'm just gonna take this to the end and kind of center it over our washi there. Place it down. Did I go crooked? A little bit. Fix that there. There we go. That is better. And now I'm going to glue the pink straight down to the middle. This pink comes from the new watercolor backgrounds from Mente. It's really pretty. I like this color. It's not exactly the pink on the camera, but I thought it was pretty enough. You know what? I think this needs a black stripe too. Let's do that. Nothing like hindsight, right? So there's a piece of black, and then I'm going to put some more glue because I'm sure this is starting to dry now, just to make sure this will stick. And I'm going to center it here. So we're going to mimic, we're going to carry that straight black line into the middle as well. Kind of look at that and get that lined up. And that'll add a little more dimension without having to add another piece of foam. And now we'll glue this straight down. Bring this over. It covers up more of our cheetah print, which I kind of didn't want to do, but I think it really does add to it. Now that I look at it, I think it's better to do that. Because when we bring our Yeah, look at that. That's cute, right? It just gives it just enough. It kind of was getting a little bit too busy for me because I really want my camera to pop. So that is helpful. If you don't want to cover that much up, you could always scallop punch this or just cut it a little bit smaller. But I think it kind of works because I want that to be the focal point. So now we need to put our sentiment here. So I've decided I want to add some film strip. I think this will be super cute to kind of add this down one side. I probably could have stamped this directly onto the pink, and that might have been cute. I'm going to see how it looks on the white. If I don't love it on the white, if I think it's too stark, because there is no white really on the card, I may come back and do it on a gray or a brown and see how that looks. But the little film strip that is from the set, look, it's so cute. You could extend that out and make it really long, whatever you want to do there. I'm going to trim this out. So I like how this is looking because I know how I'm going to do my sentiment over here. I think I'm going to ink this, kind of knock some of that color back. So I'm just going to use kind of a dirty ink blender and not even ink it up. Just add a little bit of color there to kind of knock just a little of the white, just so it's not quite so stark since nothing on the card really has any white. But I think the film strip looks good on the white. You could always emboss this on a darker color too. That'd be pretty. So see how that, you may not even tell on camera, but it's just knocking it back a little bit. And that way it won't be quite so stark. And because I did that, I'll go ahead and do this. I should have done this anyway because I fussy cut this. So this is a good way to hide all your little not perfect edges. And it'll kind of blend this in for me. Perfect. Okay, so let's do that. Now I want to do a little banner right here. So with another little strip of the blue watercolor, is that a watercolor background? It may just be background's rainbow, Basic Brook 3. For some reason I was thinking this was watercolor, but I don't think it is. So I'm going to do the sentiment that says focus on God and not the storm. And I want to do it a little high on this piece because I'm going to ribbon tail this little piece and have it come out from under the card. Look how cool. I love that. I love it. All right, let's do a little ribbon tail on the bottom, a little dovetail. So I'm going to take my scissors and kind of cut up inside there in the middle, and then from one corner to the middle, like so, and then from the other corner to the middle. Perfect, just what I was looking for. Let's hit that with a little ink too, since we did the other things. And this is going to go underneath. The plan is this. Let's see if we can make this work. I want it to look a little bit kind of dropped. I don't know if I'm going to be able to make that happen. We're going to see. So if I have the camera kind of dropped this way and then have this underneath, as if this were all just kind of dropped here, I think that'll be kind of cute. Oh, I like that. I think that's cute. So a little bit sloppy. So I'm going to pick this guy up, and I know this is going to get glued down right here. And what I'll do, I'll show you this, is I can just make a pencil mark so I know how high to take it to kind of keep me where I need to be. I'm going to glue it straight down. I'm not going to glue the very bottom of the tail. I'm just going to glue it like this, and I'll show you why. I want that bottom to kind of lift up a little bit. So I'm going to come right back here to my little pencil line. And then I know this guy was kind of overlapping like so. So I'm going to glue him down like that. And the same thing, I'm going to glue kind of the center and not the bottom because I want the ends to kind of curl up. Something like that. And then that way, these ends can be kind of free floating. Like it was just dropped here. See if I can get this to lift up. There we go. I like it. And then the camera. Peel off that little piece that we put on earlier. And this guy was just kind of laying there. I love this. So now this card opens like this, and you guys know I have a habit of not doing the inside of the card until I know where it's going because I don't know what sentiment I'm going to want to put inside here. And this guy works for a lot of different things, right? This works for like graduating, like if your children are graduating and they're like nervous about the future, what's coming, this is a great one for that. This works if someone is fixing to start a journey, they're not familiar with what's going to happen. This is a great card to use for a lot of different things with focus on God and not the storm. And I love how it turned out. So I hope you guys did. I thought that was a neat thing to be able to show you how to take your stamped images and turn them into something else, like a little shaker element. So look where we took that camera all the way to that, and I think it looks great. I think I will add some glossy accents. I'm sitting here looking, and y'all are probably already thinking it. Let's do it. let's add a little glossy accent to everywhere that the flash is, or the little buttons too. So I got that added, and I'll show you where I put it. So I put it on the little buttons. I'm trying to get the light to catch it. So it's on the little buttons here. There we go. It's on the lens there and on the flash there. And I think that looks really cool. All right, guys, that is our card. I cannot wait to see what you guys do with the stamp set. You always do better than me. You always come up with better ideas. And if you would like to be inspired to see what people are making with our stamp sets, head to our customer gallery at maymaymadeit.com. There are over 2,000 images posted there using our stamp sets and our products that we carry in our store. So if you need a little inspiration, that's a great way to get it. Don't forget to subscribe and be sure to come check out our Discord. You're going to love it over there too. Thanks so much for being here. And until next time, bye now.